Yo, fellas, ladies, bots, agents, Decepticons, all y'all, what's up? All right, let's talk about cutting people off. Let's talk about healthy boundaries and cutting people off on semen retention, on the narrow path, when you're putting God first. Now, I just assume the people who resonate with this content, the people who engage with this content, y'all are the so-called chosen ones. Y'all are the ones who are a little different than the average person walking around here. And I'm sure you've noticed it. And I'm sure they've noticed it. And people generally love you or hate you. There's not a lot in between, because you're just kind of a potent individual. A lot of us tend to be very introverted, but we're also, because of that introversion, we've done a lot of introspection, and we've done a lot of reflection and inner work. And through that, we've gained some wisdom. And so we tend to be pretty intelligent people with a lot to say, even though we're not necessarily saying a lot. You know what I mean? Because in the average, group of people, there's just not going to be a lot of people who want to talk about the things you want to talk about. People, for the most part, tend to be engaged in the surface of things, and they don't really want to get into like deep subject matter. And a lot of people are so insecure with themselves that your level of confidence and security is like a threat to them. It makes them feel small. And it sucks when you're the way we are, because we're empathic. We were born very empathic, and we don't want anybody to feel small. We don't want to do this. We want to lift people up. We want to support people. And so it's frustrating when we know we're that way, but a lot of people will just feel small in our presence, right? So there's that aspect of this thing. But also the other thing that happens is, like, as you progress on the path, as you stay on the retention path, people are going to come out the woodwork with their kind of perverted stuff. All right, this is something I'm dealing with for sure. And this is something that some of my closest brothers on this path are also dealing with, where there's this phenomena where, because you are so committed to this, really it's like a path of purity, it's a righteousness thing, it's about putting God first. It's not really about female attraction, it's not about having stronger erections, it's not about getting more jacked. These are all like icing on the cake things. These are like natural consequences of retaining. That's just what happens. But that's not the point. And if that is the point, I think you are setting yourself up for failure, because you're missing out on the real good stuff, which is transcendence, which is freedom from bondage. Like, if you are engaged in this practice because you want to get more girls, you want to have stronger erections, or you want to be part of some community and get validation points, clout, something like that, you're probably not going to last very long, because you're relying on like worldly things to motivate you instead of eternal spiritual things. And that's the real gift. The real fruits come from the spiritual aspect of this journey. So I'm finding that a lot of people come at me, and the funny thing is my discernment's so on point that I already know, and I'm getting better at this. Sometimes I try to give people the benefit of the doubt too much. Like, my intuition says, this person's trying to get something from me. This person's on some perverted something. Like, there's something they're not telling me. And they're pretending to be about what I'm about. But low key, there's like a hidden agenda. There's something they're trying to achieve. And it's bizarre, man. It's bizarre. And I'm finding that so far, 100% of the time, when I've had like suspicions about somebody and the way they're coming at me, I turn out to be right. And sometimes it takes a little bit for their true colors to come out, but it happens. And it turns out that some of these people, man, they're literally just lusting after me because I've become the forbidden fruit. And that's what happens. When you're on retention, you're like the forbidden fruit. And there's a certain type of person in this world, they just want what they can't have. They just want it. They just lust after it. And I'm not really resonating with lust anymore. I don't want to lust after people, nor do I want to be lusted after. I find it disrespectful and low vibrational, and I don't appreciate it. And what I really don't appreciate, see, it'd be one thing if somebody came to me and they were just straight up with it. If they were like, hey, I think you're sexy, I want to do something with you. You know what I mean? If they were just like straight up. I notice it more with men too. Like a lot of men try and just act like they're my homie and like they're interested in what I'm interested in. And then it turns out like they're hitting on me on some gay shit. And like no judgment, but I'm not that way. So like I feel disrespected because it's very clear. I always make it very clear when I sense that energy from somebody in the most compassionate, gentle way I can figure out how to do it. I let them know like I'm celibate and I'm heterosexual and I'm on retention, and then I'll get questions like, oh, has your junk gotten bigger? Stuff like that. Now I'm like, now I'm skeptical. It's like, what are you getting at, man? Why are you asking me about something like that? That's really inappropriate. I don't go around asking people about their genitals. That's really weird. That's weird. So this is the kind of stuff that's going to happen when you are really like in your zone and you're maintaining, you're retaining, you're maintaining, you're abstaining, and you're doing it for God, like legit. There's all these people that just want to like get in the way of it. And these are people that need to be cut out of your life, and you don't need to feel bad about it, because I know you guys, if you guys are like me, you're very empathic, you're sensitive, you do not want to hurt people's feelings. That's not what you're about. But look, on this path, sometimes you are going to hurt people's feelings. And really, it's up to them to figure out how to cope with that. They need to figure out how to deal with their own emotions. That's an inside job. That's not your job. And your job is never to protect somebody's feelings, especially if they're disrespecting you. So it's totally okay just to block somebody off. You don't even have to say anything, man. You could just cut them off, block their number, stop communicating, ghost them if you have to. Or you could figure out a compassionate way to be like, look, I don't appreciate what's going on here. I'm not about this. And I'd appreciate it if you stop, if you show me some respect. I feel disrespected when you do this. That's a good way to do it is I statements. When you do this, I feel this way. That's generally a compassionate way to get through to somebody. But if people are really on some like really kind of perverted type of shit, which a lot of people in the retention community are, it's bizarre, but it's that way, then don't feel bad cutting them off. You don't need that in your life. It's weird. It kind of opens you up to certain forms of spiritual attack too, to interact with these people. If you exchange energy with these people too much, they're going to start to affect you, right? There's this saying, this comes from scripture. I wish I could remember which book this was, but evil communications corrupt good manners. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here, is like, if you communicate with some of these people too much, it's gonna end up corrupting you on some level. And so that's why this is to be avoided. We have to protect our energy. A lot of people anyways, don't really want us becoming more pure, more powerful, more confident. Or when they do see that happening, they're like energy vampires. They want to suck some of that energy out of you, figuratively or literally, if you catch my drift. And I'm not about it. Not about it. All right, guys. So this is about transcendence. This is about getting free from the bondage called lust. And that's huge. That's a big deal. You get free of that. Woo! everything starts to open up for you, man. So much energy is available to you. But you can't be in this mentality, dude. You got to leave the mentality. It's not enough just to abstain. You've got to refrain from thinking about certain things. If you feel me, okay? And people that are on that level, you've got to refrain from interacting with them too much. Don't feel bad cutting them off. Don't feel bad. It's all good because somebody better is going to come along. All right? So, about to hit the gym. Signing out. Love you guys.